Hey guys, Lee here, bringing you some Hex. Uploading my basics of Hex, just kind of the overview of the interface. I'm going to show you guys today my blue-white humans deck. Okay, maybe less humans, more royalty deck. If you want to play the red-white version of this, it's going to be much more expensive, but the rares in this deck aren't worth a whole lot. I think the most expensive thing is William Rowan, capping out around 400 plat. He's really strong for a 2-drop. He's a 3-2 that creates like a 5-5 and puts her into your deck. And then every turn, he like moves her up 5 slots, and if she's at the top, he just puts her into play, which is really strong. Also running Her Majesty, Queen the Grace. Reduces the cost of Rowan if necessary. Usually you use her to cast His Majesty King Gabriel a turn or two early, who creates a 6-6 that while the 6-6 is alive, King Gabriel takes no damage. That kind of thing. You just get a ton of value off these creatures that just kind of help each other out. Mirror Knight for card draw, Counter Magic Buccaneer, Repel, Yesterday, and Time Ripple, all for control. Same thing with Flock of Seagulls, which is full art. I think before we start, I am going to full art this Yesterday. Usually cards with a lot of text, I don't suggest full arting, but, you know, it's whatever you want to do. So we're going to save. We're going to go Frost Ring Arena. No, we're not playing the combo today. The combo deck I will have to show you some other time, but it may hurt the quality of the video just because your hand fills up and the game lags. We're just going to play a couple games, and I'm going to go over the very basics with this deck. The deck that I'm playing, you do not need to play the Frost Arena with. The Frost Arena, especially the first ring of guys, is really easy. The only hard part I have is when they bring a special PvE effect that's like, oh, everybody has 6 booby traps, and you draw into your booby traps and you lose, or they play a 5-5 for 0. That can also bother me. But we get the option to mulligan. I'm going to keep this. I do like 2 land hands or 2 resource hands in this deck. From all your tier 1 opponents. Okay, cool. So everyone's starting with 7 less health. That's good. So we're going to look at these cards. We get an option to play a Sapphire or a Diamond. They will give us 1 Threshold and 1 resource. So the threshold of a card is right here. So I need 1 white to play her, but I have to have 2 resources to play her. So a resource you consume for that turn and it gets replenished the next turn. Your threshold does not go away ever. So if I have 2 blue sources, I can play 10 blue cards that all require 2 blue sources, as long as I have the resources. So I could have 2 sapphires and then 8 diamonds, and I'd be able to play 10 cards that require 2 blue. But I think we're just gonna, it doesn't really matter what we play right now. There's nothing we can drop turn 1. So we're gonna continue to second main phase, and then continue to end phase, and our opponent's gonna go. So when you play a resource, you're gonna get a charge for your ability. My ability, it's required, I have 7 charges and 2 white threshold to activate. Put target troop from my crypt into play. And your charges you gain separately from your energy over here. Oh wow, he's got a 2-1 with speed, which means he can attack the turn it comes into play. Creatures normally cannot attack or tap the turn they come into play. They have something called Summoning Sickness, where they just can't do anything. And that prevents people from swarming the board and killing you before you have anything you can do. His ability is every 2 resources he plays, he's going to deal 1 damage to me, meaning he's going to be playing a fairly aggressive deck. You can tell that between the Baby Yeti and his ability. He also had this ability, when a troop enters play, there's a 25% chance it gets speed and +1 attack. So that's interesting. But I think we're going to play Her Majesty Queen the Grace. Her Ballroom Slippers create a Queen's Guard, which I don't actually play in my deck, but in PvE, having equipment is really strong. You get an equipment slot for your head, your feet, your chest, your hands, and then you have a trinket and a weapon, I believe. So this is taking up my shoe slot to get that ability. But Queen's Guard is a cool card. It's alright. I'm not going to be able to activate that ability unless I get my my land that gives me one of 3 colors. But the human deck is supposed to be red, white, and blue. Some people would call it Jeskai. I'm not gonna play red, white, and blue just because the 3 colors I feel is just fairly unbalancing. Some games you're not gonna get the color you need, and you'll have cards in your hand you won't play. So I usually cap off around 2 colors. So you get Diamond Shard here. So now we can play this William Rowan, who is very strong. Don't get me wrong. And I could, in theory, I guess I'll do it just to prove a point. I have this ability that says tap. Target human you control or in your hand gets cost -1. So I'm going to reduce this cost of Her Majesty Queen the Grace. So I can now play her, and I would have 2 copies of her. But Her Majesty Queen the Grace has this ability called Unique, meaning there can only be one. She's a Highlander. So if I play her, she kills the other one, the one that was already in play. But I do get that Queen's Guard ability. And Unique applies only to you. So you and your opponent can both have a Her Majesty, but you can't have 2 Her Majesties. Looks like William Rowan got speed. So we're going to attack. So creatures are required to tap to attack. They cannot be tapped they have to be untapped when you attack, and when you attack, they become tapped. So I attack my opponent, not his creatures. His creatures then get to choose if they want to block me. And cards will deal damage at the same time, unless they have an ability called Swift Strike, which means you deal damage first, and then if your opponent survives, you deal damage. So they dealt 2 to each other, they dealt 2 to each other, and they both died. My opponent took no damage. I did have excess damage, but I don't deal that damage to my opponent unless I have Crush, which is like Trample and Magic. Any damage that is excess is dealt to my opponent's health. It's usually a green ability. Ooh, another Diamond Shard. Okay. Now I could activate this and reduce the cost of my William Rowan. I think I'm going to do that to save my counter magic, which will let me interrupt one of my opponent's cards. That means before it enters play, when he's trying to play it, I can't play that. Oh no. So I can't play that because I don't have the 2 blue threshold, which is why it is important to get the thresholds you need. But I can still play Time Ripple if he plays a card. These are quick actions, meaning I can play them at any time. Basic actions and constants I can only play on my turn. Constants are permanent. They just they'll sit off to the side. Same thing with artifacts. They just sit off to the side and have a passive effect on the game, whereas basic actions and quick actions have more immediate effects. We are going to attack with our Queen's Guard. Continue to declare defense, deal combat damage. Continue to end phase. So the strategy with this deck is play fairly aggressively. Oh wow, that's a strong card. So this has Crush. If this assigns more than fatal combat damage to all troops blocking it, you can block with more than 1 troop. The rest of the damage will be assigned to defending champion. So that's a good card. He's not going to do anything. He's going to activate his ability. Okay, so I'm going to take 1 damage here, which my health bar I'm not too worried about. I have plenty of life. So I can cast this before I click end opponent's turn to send it back to his hand and increase the cost by 1. Meaning he doesn't have a creature and it costs more now. So I've traded kind of a 1-for-1. I spent 2 mana to return a card to his hand, which is what the card does, which sounds stupid, but when you put these cards in your deck, you have to assume how much impact are they going to have on the game, right? I could play a 5/5 for 7, but for 7 mana, there's other things I would rather be doing. So that's why I think William Rowan is so strong. He creates this wolf that goes into your deck, and you're going to get her for free. Blood Crazed Zealot, 5/4 for 5. It's a good card, but again, it's kind of that impact on the game effect. Like, he could attack, but he'd be taking too much damage next turn. Let's see what I got. Buccaneer, okay. Another human. Just like Time Ripple, this will bounce a card to my opponent's hand, which is why I like this. If you get the ability to play blue in your PvE or in your campaign, Buccaneer is a common, and I think it is like the most played blue common in the game, for good reason. It's a 2/2 for 3, which isn't great, that's still okay, but it returns a creature to your opponent's hand and increases its cost, meaning they have to spend more resources to play it. Oh, I could have attacked with my Buccaneer. I'm an idiot. I didn't realize it had speed. Well, now he's going to survive with 1 health. So I think we'll be okay. We might not. He might have something that'll kill us. I know there's Purging Flames. Blood Crazed Zealot. That's it has speed now, which I guess it got lucky with the 25% chance. He's going to deal 1 to me. Doesn't look like I'm going to need to use my charge card this game. It doesn't look like I'm even going to play that long. Cerulean Mirror Knight, I think I'm just going to attack. I'm going to have... He has a bigger creature that can kill any one of my creatures, but he can't block them all, and he only has 1 life. So I'm going to win based on that. Deal combat damage. -4. There we go. And we'll get a gold pouch, and then we can continue on or withdraw as we see fit. And I think we're going to withdraw and open the gold pouch just to see what it is. It is 100 or 200 gold, and that is the easy way to grind Frost Arena. Just play a fairly aggressive deck, and those are the basics to Hex. So if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and I hope to see you on Hex. Peace.